I like to share knowledge, and I feel like maybe it could help someone, so we'll be doing that. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are coming back, hey girl, hey. If you are new, hey. So real quick, I decided to kind of change everything about my channel. I changed my mind. So in this channel, do expect for us to blame things on zodiac signs. And as someone with a lot of water in my chart, and as a Gemini, I change my mind a lot. So anyway, now the channel is called I Am Sarahy, and I just wanted to do something that Kim Parker taught me when I was really young. It's called KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Except for the stupid part, because we don't talk to ourselves like that. But the point is, just keep it simple. So I decided I'm just gonna call it I Am Sarahy. I pretty much just show you who I am, but not in the sense of you follow my lifestyle and stuff like that, because that's just not my vibe, and nothing against it, and also I feel like I'm a private person, but more in the sense of opening up in ways that I can actually help people, and sharing those kind of stories, and sharing experiences, sharing things that I think can help people, just like with the domestic violence video. But the whole Sarahy seasons, malas semilla, the genius ideas, I'm just gonna do it this way, and hopefully I can upload more often. I do still work a full-time job and have a child, so but yeah, that's pretty much it. So the channel is called I Am Sarahy. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about shadow work. So I did want to read the definition, so let me pull out my handy dandy phone. What I read. So according to Google, shadow work is how you integrate the aspects of your unconscious psyche into your conscious experience and allow the positive aspects of the shadow to express themselves. When properly used and channeled, the shadow self has traits that you can use to further your own personal development. So that's shadow work by Google. But shadow work is pretty much you facing a lot of things that, or aspects of yourself that you deem negative or have been deemed negative. You pretty much, in a sense, kill part of your ego, or kill your ego. You just go through pretty much writing out anything that makes you uncomfortable, or anything that kind of hinders your growth, that that you suppress. In my definition, very plain and simple. Sorry, I was thinking about my intro. It means pretty much taking accountability and coming out of victim mode, and not saying that you wanted to be a victim or anything. It's just sometimes we can place ourselves there, and we have to get ourselves out of there, which is the shadow work.
So, how does one shadow work?
Well, sometimes you choose to shadow work.
So I feel like there's a difference. I feel like there's, you kind of are more aware. So you notice things and you're like, you know what, I need to tackle this down. Exhibit A. I signed up back for therapy after 2 years of not seeing my therapist, also due to crappy insurances I had before. But, now life's looking pretty swell on that side. Thank you, God. And I do believe that if you're able to do so, you're able to go to therapy, you have the resource, you have that benefit. I'm going to look into free resources as well. I'm going to do a video about, finding your therapist. But, yeah, I definitely recommend it. So at this point, I feel like I'm about to enter a different type of shadow work, or tapping into it differently, I should say, because I want to tackle this on.
And then I feel like there's foreshadow work.
It means when some messed up stuff happens, and life, the universe is putting you in a very uncomfortable situation so that change can come about. You have a chance to kind of in a simulation, in a game, you go back to that one spot where you already chose path B and you know it's gonna happen, so this time you gotta choose path A. But you know, are you insane and you want to go back and try the same thing that just put you in this position? But you know, it's kind of like, you know, if you like read tarot and stuff like that, I feel like it's like the death card, the tower card, like rebirth, or just a big change. But it needs to happen for you to like step to the next level of your journey in life. And you know, I feel like shadow work is something that should be integrated because we all have, you know, duality, you know, in the sense of feminine energy, masculine energy, in the sense of, you know, as above, so below. So just as great at something as you can be, or some of your great aspects of your personality, there's can also be a very negative end to that. And that's where, you know, shadow work comes in. Like, instead of suppressing that, avoiding that, or living on one extreme or the other, you find balance and you tackle that on so you can move forward. You know, shadow work is some tackling on, for example, which a lot of people experience, is trauma, you know, and oftentimes we try to put all those things behind us and kind of just like, oh, well, we're adults now, or we know better than blah blah. But there's a lot that needs to go into that, so we're going to talk about that. So when I first kind of realized that I was entering shadow work, when life flipped itself upside down for me in moments, and I was like,
oh shit, like, I gotta like do something.
Yeah, that's when, you know, I was realizing, like, once I became more aware, I stopped thinking like, why is this happening to me? And as cliche as it sounds, well, how is this happening for me? You know, because everything does happen for you. And so instead of looking at it negatively, I started really realizing where I went wrong again, or what I need to change and things like that. But you know, it was very uncomfortable because I wasn't really prepared, or I wasn't really willing. You know, so most of the time, you either enter shadow work like deciding, oh, you know, I want to like figure this out, or you get put in a oh shit type of life situation where you don't have a choice. So you realize that you're being guided by the universe, although you may not feel that way at first. You are, because it's aligning you with your greater good. And sometimes you have to go through that hard work because of things that you were suppressing or avoiding or whatever. It's pretty much facing shit, facing the truth, facing yourself, facing God in a sense, you know, without the whole concept of Judgment Day around it. So I found someone on Instagram not too long ago. Her name is Nikki. She has a page. It's called @ProtectTheLight7. And there's a lot of really useful information in there. She did a short video on shadow work. And I thought her explanation was like really short and sweet and to the point. And she was pretty much talking about how, you know, it's learning to incorporate the shadow and learning to, you know, work with it, because essentially it never goes away. It's you learning to work with them instead of, you know, allowing them to work, make yourself work against yourself. So it's really like a battle of self, but it's like for your greater good. It's so that you can really propel forward. And so you're, you know, using all the fucked up shit and transmuting that energy. Instead of letting it overtake you, surround you, you're transmuting it into something great, because you're using it to align yourself, you know, because now these are imprinted experiences that are helping you instead of hindering you, unless that's your mindset. So it's examples of when you might need shadow work. All of your chakras are blocked, you know, happened to me for the most part. You know, you can't express yourself, or you feel really unbalanced, you can't rest, you are in a really shitty situation, such as, you know, having to start over from something, coming out of being really depressed or being really depressed. You know, I experienced certain childhood trauma. I, you know, was married before. I know. I look so young, but you know, yeah, you do crazy shit sometimes. I self-sabotaged for a lot of years. I mean, it took a lot of slowly not self-sabotaging, but now I'm way more on point with it. So now I can do stuff like this, kind of, you know. Sorry. But yeah, you know, coming out of dark places, how it affected you, guiding yourself. You're learning to guide yourself. No one's holding your hand. The only hand you're holding is the hand you never wanted to hold, you know, your other self. You know,
So, you might be asking, what does shadow work require?
well, it requires you to go within. It requires you to want to do it, I guess, unless you're forced. But once you're forced, in order for you to go through it a lot smoother, you probably have to do this, you know. So it requires you to really take accountability, kind of stare at yourself in the mirror and really understand that although there are certain things that were out of your control that you were not able to not make people do to you, your reaction was a choice. What you accepted was a choice. The tone you said was a choice. And the amount of time it took from you, in a sense, you know, was a choice, you know. And it's not to make yourself feel bad. It wasn't because your mind state was at that point now that you're realizing it. But the point is, it's really forgiving yourself, forgiving others. Like I said, a lot of going within. That's why I do feel like therapy is a good way to help with that. And in a way, this is self-therapy that you're giving yourself, because I don't feel there's really a one way to go through shadow work. I don't feel like it just has to do with you going to therapy. I mean, there are things that can help, I feel, but they don't have to all go exactly this way or all be incorporated. I feel like meditation, which I need to get better at doing more often, because yeah, the answers do come in silence. There's so much you can go through within meditation. You know, finding hobbies, finding things that make you happy, journaling, really pushing all of those negative feelings out. So we'll later get into other videos with this, but the point is that a lot of this trauma, a lot of all of these negative things that we suppress are within our aura. You know, they're within the realm of our energy, so it's like they're still there. So, you know, going in nature, expressing yourself, it's little things, working on it daily. It just depends on, you know, what all you're suppressing and what's going on. But I feel like it also requires, when I say go within, it requires solitude. It requires, you know, depending on you and your whatever you believe in. I'm not one to detain, you know, someone's sexual expression, but you know,
celibacy, I feel,
honestly can definitely require that, because you have to, like, depending on the situation and, you know, why you're going within, it requires sometimes complete isolation. Not in the sense to where you just block people out of your life, but in the sense of you have to sit with yourself. You have to be comfortable with yourself. You have to accept yourself. You have to accept that you are the one person that you're always going to be around at all times, no matter what. And so wouldn't you rather make sure that when you are with self, you're with your higher self, you know? And I mean, I feel like that's what shadow work is about. So it's you incorporate duality. So for example, you know, knowing when it's okay to be nice and trusting, and knowing when to not be so naive, knowing when to set your boundaries, knowing when to, someone really is just trying to help you, trusting yourself, trusting your intuition. And so a lot of what I'm saying, you know, when you're watching this channel, understand that most of the time, you know, unless I'm telling a past story or lesson, there are certain things I'm still working through. So for example, this for me is shadow work, expressing myself, showing myself. I mean, I know you might say, well, that looks a little staged. Well, it is, because I like aesthetically pleasing things, but I don't do shit for the aesthetics per se, but I guess I do this. But yeah, so the point is, see, like, and I can be weird, and that's hard for me to express, and like, I don't want people to know I'm weird, but you know what, like, I need people to know I'm weird, because that's who I am. And you know, things like that. I mean, that's minor, and then there's, you know, like real fucking trauma and shit that happened that you're like,
I'm scarred. I'm a scarred individual, and you know, I don't know if
blah, blah. But it's like coming out of that, you know, coming out of negative thinking, coming out of not thinking that you're deserving or good enough for something. It really has changed my life. So, you know.
What are other things you could do? Great question.
So, I think one great aspect of shadow work to, you know, explore is healing your inner child. You know, as you most have probably come to the conclusion of, you know, most of the things that affect you today are linked back to your childhood, you know, back to trauma, an event, a memory, or something that was instilled in you, whatever. So I feel like healing your inner child is a major part. So that's why I'm going back to therapy this year, amongst, you know, a few other things I want to fix. But healing your inner child, I feel like that's where a lot of your shadow began to form, like the things you couldn't express, the things you couldn't act upon. And I feel like that's, if there is a path, that's one of those major stops, like healing your inner child. So therapy, we're going to talk a lot about that on this channel. I'm not, you know, an official therapist yet, but you know, I did go to this school called Life, Susan, and I learned a lot, you know, and I feel like I can help people. So I definitely wanted to recommend this journal. I'm living out my makeup guru dreams here. You know, I don't really know if it's zoomed in, but I'm going to put the link to it below from Amazon. It's called Soul Catcher. So when I was in therapy, this is one of the journals that my therapist recommended to me. And I really think this is a great journal for shadow work. Like I said, it's called Soul Catcher, a journal to help you become who you really are. So it pretty much goes through different aspects of ourselves. Like, what is a soul catcher? How to use your soul catcher. You know, history of self, your fears, your worries, anger and depression, pain and loss, jealousy and obsession, love, dreams and wishes, purpose, joy and peace. And then some helpful reading at the end. But yeah, so as you can see, a lot of that is like, you know, not all love and light, and not all, you know, just the positive aspects of everything. So it means kind of, you know, just really releasing and working through the things that we don't want to sometimes. And you know, it's your journal, and you know, only you have access to it, so you're free to express yourself. But I feel like the prompt is really great. There's still parts I haven't finished, and there's parts that I sometimes come back and update. So definitely recommend this for shadow work personally. And trying it out, you know, sometimes that's what you have to do. There's gonna be moments where you have to allow yourself to express yourself. There's going to be moments where you have to really rely on yourself. So it means, I feel like, really finding the God in you, you know, connecting to source at the highest, because now you're incorporating everything. You're not, you know, God made all of you, and you're no longer having that, you know, vibe to your, you know, shadow self. You know, you're fully incorporating yourself. You're fully starting to love yourself, loving yourself, you know, and it's a process. You know, I'm currently going through the process. There's still things where I'm like, why am I talking to myself like that? Or why am I, you know, oh, the aesthetics are ruined. Anyway, yeah, you know, asking myself, like, why am I talking to myself like that? Why am I being so judgy? Why am I being so, like, strict on what I have to be like all the time, you know? And then really analyzing it and going, oh, because of that. And just, you know, how can I get out of that? Things like that.
So what can one expect? What's to come? What might happen?
So, you know, you might also have to set boundaries. You know, that quote, no is a full sentence. No is a full sentence. And I'm working on that, you know, but now I'm learning not to over-explain myself. Or just going, you know what, I just don't feel comfortable with this. It is what it is. You know, anybody who has an issue with you wanting to put yourself in the best position for yourself does not need to be around you anyway. You know, facts. Learn this with a bunch of snakes. I would know. So yeah, you know, really learning to have boundaries, learning to go within, exploring things, you know. I do recommend, you know, with, especially if you're like a spiritual person, you know, you get into Reiki, tarot, oracle, crystal healing. We all love crystals. You know, whatever the case may be, color therapy. You know, roses have the highest vibration. I needed them by me today. Stepping into your divine power. That's something that can come from shadow work, you know, because now you're, like we've said 100 times, really loving all of you and integrating yourself and really stepping into yourself and really feeling confident with it and learning how to, you know, it's like making the perfect recipe of yourself. You're learning how to maneuver each ingredient part of you, you know. It's dope. So I definitely recommend everyone do it. I definitely want to make more videos on it, but my point also this time I made a video was to not make it last an hour. Pretty much that was the gist of shadow work, some of the benefits of shadow work, going into shadow work. And thank you if you made it to this part of the video. Pretty much I just wanted to cover where we are with shadow work, just giving you some examples, kind of walking lightly through what it is. This is like a small intro video from someone that's gone through it and going through it in that sense of for shadow work, and now I just want to do it, so knock some shit out. But yeah, I just wanted to open your mind to that, have you look into it. You know, there is Google. I suggest Pinterest. You know, it does help you look for things. And you know, if you ever have any questions, feel free to ask me, and there will be a lot more videos that will tie in some way to this one, because I'm very into all of this. So yeah, just continue to tune in. So I decided that some of my videos should be me doing reviews on certain books that I find good, also because I have a lot of books that I've started that I've never finished. But right now I'm reading The Akashic Records, and it is by Linda Howe. I feel like this is a good book into starting to look into the Akashic Records. I know you're like, whoa, what is this? What is she talking about? She was just talking about shadow work. Now she's throwing some weird word at me. We'll talk about it when I review this book, because I'm really getting into more of my Reiki work, reading Oracle now. So, you know, if you're interested, hit me up for that. And I'm also looking into the Akashic Records because it's something that always interested me, and I really feel like I'm meant to do something with it. But the point is, I'm going to review this book, so if you're interested, that will be the book I will review. So I just wanted to share that, and I do hope that, you know, you enjoyed the video. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave comments. Reach out to me. If you have any questions.